Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys my Monday Night Raw review results and reactions for June 26, 2017. So yeah, guys, let's get into this review. To start off the show, we had Roman Reigns come out, and we talked a little bit about Joe locking him in the Coquina clutch, and Braun Strowman coming out of an ambulance, which I thought was pretty good last week. I think I did my dual review. I mentioned it in my dual review last week. Braun Strowman coming back was probably one of the best things that could have happened to Raw. So basically, Roman Reigns talked about that, and then an ambulance pulled up, and basically Roman Reigns went over to the ambulance after a few minutes. Then all of a sudden, from behind, Braun Strowman attacks Roman Reigns, and he basically he stuffs him in the ambulance, and yeah, he stuffed him in the ambulance, and it ended up driving away at the end of the promo. And in my opinion, I thought this was really good. It made Strowman kind of a heel in a sense, even though Roman Reigns is probably not going to get over as a face. But still, I mean, it was a good promo because it made Braun Strowman look strong against someone like Roman Reigns. And hopefully Strowman will win the Universal title. I'm thinking by the end of the year, he could possibly win it, or maybe even next year. But I definitely think probably this year could be Braun Strowman's year. I thought Lesnar and Strowman would collide at Great Balls of Fire, and Strowman would win the WWE Universal title. But Samoa Joe was put in that spot. And that's pretty much it for that start of the show. Next match was the first match of the night was the Hardys and Finn Balor taking on Cesaro, Sheamus, and Elias Samson. And the winner of this match were Balor and the Hardy Boys by pinfall. So basically, toward the end of this match, I think Jeff ended up hitting the Twist of Fate to escape the beating that he was taking by the tag team champions and Elias Samson, and he let Matt get a comeback, and then the Hardys took down Cesaro and Sheamus, aka the tag team champions. Finn Balor hit the coup de grace to get the win, and I honestly think this is a very good tag team, a pretty good pairing of these three people. Excuse me. I really like Elias Samson on Raw. I think he has a great spot on Raw. I think he'll definitely be a main event threat if he can be built up properly. And Cesaro and Sheamus are a great tag team. They're great heels, and I really do like them as heels. And then Finn Balor is just so talented out of NXT. He was the first Universal Champion. And, I can see why WWE gave him that push 1 year ago, because he had so much talent and so much draw from NXT that why not put it on the main roster and get, Raw some ratings, especially because, Raw had a ratings fall. The only good Raw was the first one after Battleground when basically Balor beat Roman Reigns, and I thought that when Balor beat Roman Reigns, this was going to be the start of his push, and, he won the Universal Championship. It was very sad that he got injured. If he won the Universal Championship, I could see him maybe dropping it to someone maybe like a Brock Lesnar, at WrestleMania. I could definitely see that. I could definitely see Finn holding the title. I could definitely have seen Finn holding the title from SummerSlam up until WrestleMania, which, I didn't really think that Goldberg should have won the Universal title. I felt like it was a waste having Goldberg win the Universal title and then drop it to Lesnar a month or two later. Basically a month later. I just really thought that Goldberg didn't really have much draw as a Universal Champion. He definitely had a draw when he faced Brock Lesnar. He definitely made news when he beat him in in 1 minute 25 seconds at Survivor Series. That was a pretty big feat because no one had beat Brock Lesnar that bad. And I see why WWE did it, because they really wanted to give Goldberg a draw, because they knew that Goldberg would only stay a couple months and then go back to his home and kind of, not wrestle, but, it's just, like, I thought Goldberg was a waste being Universal Champion. He should not have been Universal Champion. If Balor was still healthy, Balor should have retained the Universal Championship against Goldberg. I think that would have been very good for Finn Balor because he would have got a win over one of the top guys in WCW history and one of the biggest threats in WWE history who had so much potential yet could not capitalize on the potential. And, you know, I mean, it's just sad, you know, that Goldberg won the Universal Championship in Fastlane, but luckily now we have Brock Lesnar, and I actually don't even like Brock Lesnar as Universal Champion. The reason why is because he kind of locks up that Universal Championship, you know. Like, we can't have a Seth Rollins as Universal Champion. We can't have a Roman Reigns, even though that would kind of be bad. I hope Roman Reigns can turn heel, which I doubt WWE is going to do. But in the next year, I would love to see a heel Roman Reigns, you know, taking on someone maybe, you know, someone like a big baby face, like Finn Balor again, you know, saying, you know, Roman Reigns saying that that match was a fluke and that he deserves a rematch against Finn Balor. I could definitely see Finn Balor beating Roman Reigns again if that match kind of does happen, because that would give Finn Balor a huge boost, and it would definitely make him a big baby face. Not that he already is a big baby face, but that would make him even a bigger baby face to get a win over one of the top guys in the company, as WWE is pushing Roman Reigns to be that kind of guy. I can definitely see that in the next year, but you know, I said Elias Samson is great. Cesaro and Sheamus are great. Finn Balor is a huge draw. I love Finn Balor. I think he's going to be a great Universal Champion once he gets his hands on that title. Maybe next WrestleMania, you know, maybe we can see Roman Reigns win the Universal title at SummerSlam if Lesnar retains, which I can see Lesnar retaining, but I can also see Samoa Joe winning. But, you know, I could definitely see Balor getting his hands on the Universal title at WrestleMania. I could see Roman Reigns going in there as a heel and Balor as the face, and Balor wins the Universal Championship, and I feel that would be really good for the title and also for Finn Balor to kind of give him that big boost, give him a WrestleMania moment, because WrestleMania moments can change careers, and I definitely stand by that. Hardy Boys are great tag team champions, and they're still a great team, even though I can see Matt, once they get the rights to the broken gimmick from Anthem Sports, I don't know what's going on with that, but if Matt somehow gets, you know, control of that gimmick, I can definitely see him turning on Jeff Hardy, or Jeff Hardy turning on Matt, because Matt is getting too broken, and then we can see a broken Matt Hardy in WWE. I feel like that'd be a huge draw for WWE, even though like some people would kind of think that it would be taking TNA's gimmick, even though like people don't really care about TNA anymore. But if Matt Hardy somehow does get the rights to that gimmick, I could definitely see Jeff turning heel and attacking Matt Hardy, and then Matt Hardy is broken, and I would really love to see that in WWE. Next match was Goldust taking on R-Truth. Goldust and R-Truth broke up as a tag team a few months ago, and Goldust had like his own cameraman, like with like a gold microphone, I think, and it was like kind of like a gold camera. And you know, Goldust coming out like he did in like the late 90s, early 2000s, kind of, you know, him coming out like that. I feel that Goldust, you know, he was kind of weird in the late 90s. WWE did come up with some, or WWF at the time, excuse me, came up with some weird gimmicks back then. But now, you know, I really think that Goldust, with his gimmick, it's decent. It's not the best gimmick he's had. Well, no, it's not the best gimmick. I really think that Goldust and R-Truth had some potential there. Because R-Truth, I feel, he's been kind of held back because he's kind of been a comedy thing, or he's kind of been a laughingstock for the past, you know, I don't know how long he's been in WWE, maybe like 17 years, because I think he was in there in like 2000 or 2002. So he's definitely one of the veterans in WWE. So, you know, if R-Truth could have gotten a good gimmick, maybe with a Goldust, and I really think Goldust needed it too, even though he is probably going to be down in history because he is pretty memorable with the bad gimmicks he's had. You know, Goldust is a very good veteran, and so is R-Truth, and I really think them teaming up could have been a huge thing in WWE. If the WWE could have booked them right, I could definitely see them being tag team champions. Because R-Truth, I think, has a lot of skill in the ring. You know, and we haven't seen that much because, you know, in 2012 he teamed up with The Miz. You know, he has been a comedy stock. Like at WrestleMania 31, I recently just watched that, the ladder match when Daniel Bryan won. At WrestleMania 31, he was kind of scared of heights, you know, which I don't really like. I don't really like that. I really would like R-Truth and Goldust. I thought they could be a really good heel team and a really good face team as well. Because, you know, I want to see those guys succeed. Because I feel that if they can succeed, you know, if they could have succeeded, they could have been a great tag team. You know, really would have helped bolster the tag team division. You know, I really thought, when they got their ticket to Survivor Series, I really thought that was going to be their opening, you know, act. I thought this was going to be the start of their push. But sadly, R-Truth sold it to the Colognes. And, well, the Colognes that they're known now, but I just thought that Goldust and R-Truth, I thought they could be something, but it did not work out, and that's how the cookie crumbles. The Miz welcomes the Ball family to WWE, and we had a promo here from LeVar Ball. I'm surprised to see LaMelo. I didn't think LaMelo was gonna be there, but he was, and you know, obviously Lonzo Ball was there too, and Maurice was ice cold to the Miz again for I think second straight week. Excuse me. So basically, the Miz said that the Balls would enter a partnership with the Miz. And LeVar did not like the idea. And things grew intense between LeVar and Miz. And the Miz and LeVar looked ready to brawl it out, so to speak, before Dean Ambrose ended up showing up. And, yeah, I do not know why LeVar and Lonzo and LaMelo were on the show. I don't know why LaMelo was on the show. I thought I would have just had it LeVar and Lonzo because Lonzo, in my opinion, is bigger than any of the other Ball brothers. Even though LaMelo is actually really good. I think he scored a 92-point game at Chino Hills, so that was absolutely amazing. But LeVar, I don't like LeVar. If you guys don't know, I actually really don't like LeVar. I think that he runs his mouth too much, and that he's going to put a big target on Lonzo's back when he gets in the NBA, and I don't think Lonzo's going to be successful just because of that. Anyway, we have The Miz, Curtis Axel, and Bo Dallas taking on Dean Ambrose, Heath Slater, and Rhino in a 6-man tag team match. Why do you do these 6-man tags? Why? Just why? Just have a normal match between, have a match between, like, Miz and Dean Ambrose, then have a match between, like, Curtis Axel and Heath Slater, then do Bo Dallas versus Rhino. Have that match. Don't have 6-man tags. I just don't like 6-man tags. Drop the whole idea. Have singles matches. Jeez. Anyway, the babyfaces got the upper hand. Early in the match, they were beating Curtis Axel, and Axel ended up getting Rhino in his team's corner, and he worked on the powerhouse. And Ambrose ended up taking out his opponents, seizing the momentum back for his team. And then Axel eventually clubbed Rhino with a cheap shot, allowing Bo Dallas to roll Rhino up for the 1-2-3. And the winner of this match was The Miz, Dallas, and Axel by a pinfall. And I'm actually very surprised about Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas. They might actually do pretty solid as heels. They might do pretty solid if WWE can book them right. I always say that because WWE just finds a way to not book these guys right, and then all of a sudden they're going to be jobbers again. But anyway, pretty solid here. The Miz, Dallas, and Axel win via pinfall. I really think that Dallas and Axel will be a huge thing in the WWE if they can be booked right. And that's pretty much it. Now Enzo Amore tried to reunite with Big Cass. Enzo Amore ended up coming out here, and he basically wanted Big Cass to apologize to him, and Amore didn't want to accept the fact that him and Cass were done. He said that he was willing to forgive him, and Big Cass ended up apologizing, and the two men ended up embracing, and the big man ended up actually turning on his friend again for a second time. He ended up throwing Enzo Amore down the entrance ramp, that must hurt. But again, Cass is a huge superstar. He's absolutely huge. Even though there's a saying, Vince McMahon likes big sweaty men. Big Cass, I feel, if he can get better with talking, he could be a big star. Because, in my opinion, Enzo Amore was a really good smack talker. But in the ring, I don't think he has that much. He doesn't have a big draw in the ring. I think that Cass is better in the ring because he's got a lot more skill. He's gotten a lot more opportunities than Enzo, obviously, even though I love Enzo smack talk. And hopefully Enzo can, live up to what Cass can be. And if Enzo can get better in the ring, I could definitely see something happening with Enzo. So basically, the next match we had Seth Rollins taking on Curt Hawkins in a one-on-one match. And Curt Hawkins pulled the crowd about his chances for the match. And he plugged Seth Rollins with punches to the gut. He kept Seth Rollins grounded for a surprising amount of time. And then Rollins soon ended up coming to fight back. And he and Rollins ended the match with a knee right to the head of Curt Hawkins, not Curtis Hawkins. And eventually at the end of this match, after Rollins picked up the win, Bray Wyatt appeared on the Titantron, and he talked about cleansing Rollins at the Great Balls of Fire pay-per-view. I don't know why WWE titled it that, but anyway, Rollins gets the win here over Curt Hawkins. Why do I say that? Anyway, Paul Heyman was talking smack about Samoa Joe, and then basically Brock Lesnar came out along with his advocate, and Samoa Joe ended up attacking Brock Lesnar from behind, I think, after they were no. Hold on, give me a minute. In the ring, Heyman talked up his client and then called out Joe for cheap shotting Lesnar a couple weeks ago, and the Beast came out because Paul Heyman was out on the ring. I messed up. I'm sorry. But anyway, Brock Lesnar came out, and then Samoa Joe attacked Brock Lesnar from behind, and Joe ended up locking the Coquina clutch into Brock Lesnar, and that is huge, guys, because this could show the beginning. Joe could have a Universal title reign, even though it'll probably fall to Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. I could definitely see Samoa Joe being Universal Champion, because what I think will happen at Great Balls of Fire was I think that Joe will either choke out Lesnar or he'll make Lesnar tap. And Lesnar hasn't tapped since I think 2003 or 2004 in the Iron Man match versus Kurt Angle, I believe. And basically Joe locked in the Coquina clutch, and the wrestlers pulled Joe off of Lesnar. And that was actually pretty surprising to see Joe lock in the Coquina clutch on Lesnar, and I could definitely see that happening at Great Balls of Fire and Joe winning the Universal Championship from Brock Lesnar. Next match was Lince Dorado taking on Neville, and the winner of this match was Neville by pinfall, and Neville basically dominated Lince Dorado, and he ended up tapping out Dorado with the Rings of Saturn, and Tozawa looked to confront Neville, but Titus O'Neil came out and he stopped Akira Tozawa, and he announced that Tozawa had a title match with Neville at Great Balls of Fire for the Cruiserweight title. So that could be huge with Akira Tozawa, finally getting some success. I believe that he's a hard hitter. he could definitely be a great Cruiserweight champion. You know, dethroning the King would give him a huge boost and make him a legitimate force in WWE in the Cruiserweight division. I could definitely see that happening with Tozawa winning the title. And the final match of the night was the #1 contenders gauntlet match. It's the women. So basically, it's the contestants were Bayley, Nia Jax, Emma, Dana Brooke, Sasha Banks, and Mickie James. And backstage, the wrestlers picked where they wanted to go. And the first match was Bayley taking on Nia Jax. And basically, Bayley fell short with Jax getting, I think, the pinfall win. And, you know, Jax beat James pretty cleanly, pretty decisively. And Jax also beat Dana Brooke. And Banks came out second to last. And she was able to use fresh legs and quickness to put Jax on the defense. And Jax still rolled over the boss for a good chunk of the bout, and the heel basically left Banks' right leg damaged, and then Banks brought out the Predator to her knees with the Banks statement and caused Nia Jax to pass out, and Bliss ended up actually coming out, and basically Sasha Banks was the new #1 contender for the women's title, and Bliss came out to confront the new #1 contender, but took a boot to the face by Sasha Banks, excuse me. And this is really good, guys. Sasha Banks, this is her opportunity to turn heel at SummerSlam. Maybe have Bayley to come out and congratulate her, and then Sasha Banks will maybe have Banks win the title, and then have Bayley call a fair fight on Sasha Banks, maybe on a Raw sometime, or maybe on Great Balls of, well, no, not Great Balls of Fire, sorry. Maybe Bayley and Sasha have a fair fight on a Raw, and then Sasha turns heel on Bayley, you know, kind of not making it a fair fight, kind of attacking her backstage, and all that kind of stuff. I could definitely see that happening, and I could definitely see Sasha Banks turning heel. And that's going to be it for my Raw review. Sorry it was, wow, 22 minutes and 30 seconds. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, and yeah, see you guys later. Thank you for the support, and peace.